Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn, and no trivia this week. So for those of you that were thinking we were doing that, of course, and also I got comments. I was able to access the email, whereas I hadn't before, and I thank everybody again, all of you, for your patience and hopefully understanding as the network struggles through this issue. And I really appreciate your patience in like Miss Penny on those earrings. I had a feeling that with the way the situation was, that the cancellation had to do with more of the monetary side than whether you actually wanted them or not. So I am glad to see that Miss Penny got the item that she wanted, and so forth. And I hope that works out for everybody. I know this very first paragraph doesn't start out well for that. You just have to remember it's the magic of the show. And that if you didn't get an item that you wanted, but someone else did, then, that's where it was supposed to go. And you just have to believe in that. I wish I had multiples of items. I don't, especially in this point that we're at with my collection. Many items are, unique, one of a kinds, and you just have to believe that it ends up in the wonderful, loving home where it's meant to be. So let's get started. I have got a specific number of items to show you today, and then I should have a little extra time. I want to, because I talked about it before, and it may take me a while getting around to it, but I want to show you what I carry around in my go bag, so to speak. If you're a rock hound and a lapidary and a self-taught mineralogist, geologist, petrologist, paleontologist, and a lot of other ologists behind it, you have a go bag. My go bag is a little different than a go bag of someone else and their other careers. So you should find it interesting and maybe even help you organize a little bit. Matt has really come a long way. And in the end, I'm going to be just going to say it, envious, jealous. Just wait till I read what Matt's been up to. Of course, Matt is our resident, in the end, going to be our specialist in the R minerals. That dirty word I avoid saying, but I think all of you are used to the word radioactive, because it is a natural part of everything around you. You just don't realize it. Go take a hike up Stone Mountain. Now, and I say that means more for the local folk around here, but I think all of you know what Stone Mountain is down here in Georgia. A huge granite monolith. Granite contains, by way of percent of volume, the highest percentage of REEs, rare earth elements, and that translates to radioactive minerals in it. Oh yeah, and I'm sure if I took my Geiger counter over different parts of the mountain, I'd get different readings. There's a quarry back on one side of it. It's a granite outcropping like that is a geologic natural wonder to someone, like me. I hiked the mountain, I walked it, and there is tourmaline crystals that, believe me, it's a state park, so you can't take your pick up there and go doing any digging, but epidote, augite, hornblende, tourmaline, garnet, mica. The list is long at the visible crystals. I'm talking about not something you can see if you get your loop out, then wait till you see what you can find and identify for crystals. I'm talking about eye visible crystals that are just sitting there in stone. but it's a pretty neat natural wonder. So yeah, Matt's coming a long way in that part of the world. I've got some really neat things to show all of you. I have, and no one has brought it up yet, but you always have to realize that there's another layer to inventory I might have. And a layer that you haven't seen or asked about too much is emeralds. We're going to get into that a little bit more. And those of you who have watched me prior to the this podcast, which has gone on for 7 years now, proudly. Prior to that, for 9 years, I had a very specific Monday, 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning for a 9-year time slot here at Gem Shopping doing a live show. And in that period of time, I can tell you that I obtained and offered some of the most magnificent different specimens through that time period. And now, one thing, of course, I didn't do, and I could only do in this smaller little private audience we have, is offer those kind of radioactive minerals that I have responsibly to Matt. Now, I did bring up the econites many years ago, and all I put in it was, I showed the stone and I just said, these require you being a very responsible collector who can, and the stone requires a specific needs, is how I put it. Not a single phone call. Nobody wanted my econites. Which was fine, because you know what? They waited and waited and waited 8, 9 years later, 10 years maybe, till I offered it again to Matt. Matt was where they were meant to be all along, and I'm so excited that they went to someone that really can appreciate them for what they are, which is the rarest and most valuable radioactive gemstone there is, and quite beautiful. So look them up if you're not familiar with them. They're also, of course, extremely rare. Okay, so let's get to some of the comments, and I'll cover some of the other issues I want to in going through them. So I think we're going to have a little bit of extra time that I can be a little bit more specific, because I'm also going to be showing you a couple of specimens that may take a little bit more time to give you a proper education. All right, here we go. So, straight out of the gate, I'm going to be apologizing to Harry in Pennsylvania. Hadn't heard from Harry in a while, and the first thing I do is disappoint the guy. He says, "Hi there, Shawn. What's with the system?" And my mom had a major in drama, and she was a huge hand talker. So for me, I'm almost have to tie my hands down here. So when I read this, I'm not doing this with my hands. But I know how a lot of these, what you write, and the inflection of vocalization in how you wrote them. So please allow me to imbibe on my use of your exclamations and your the way you would have said it when you were writing it. I can't get through. I know you leave out the cuss words. I can't get through to get the gem silica with chrysocolla. Boo-hoo. Y'all must be pulling out the hair, biting them fingernails, twiddling them thumbs. I sure would be. Harry, all see you week. Seriously. Then Miss Barbara in Brooklyn says, it's Tuesday evening, 6:18. Haven't seen any sign of a show this week so far. Still can't order items from the 610 show since last Tuesday. Can you throw us a crumb here? Several reps. We'll skip that part because we already know that. Okay, so guess if we can't access product, there's no need for yet another show. That was correct. That's why we didn't do the one in between. But a note in the community tab would keep us from worrying something bad has happened. So we try to do that. And of course, that takes a computer and email. And none of that worked. So I wanted to do that and wasn't able to. But let's see. keep us from worrying that something bad has happened, like you got to shake hands with Tarzan Teddy. Here's hoping we see some progress and all is well. Keep cool. We need to. Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. And speaking of Teddy, that is our very large black bear that seems to have made the very remote area we live in part of his territory, because in 6 weeks now we have had 4 absolutely incredible sightings of him in our yard. And the last one was quite the mess. The Raven was gone all week up to Ohio, family members being ill. And so I went out to take the garbage out, which actually, believe it or not, she normally does. And I guess Teddy waited until it was, had no choice but for me to be the one to take the garbage out. And oh my, for the first time ever in living there, ever, the garbage can was knocked over. It's one of these big bins. There's no other animal but a bear that could knock it over. And as soon as I saw it knocked over, I said, Teddy's been here. And then look around the corner of the house, and all the way to the wood line was my garbage. And so I had to pick it all up in the hot sun. And that was not a pleasant chore. So yeah, I did pick blueberries early, actually this morning. And it puts a whole new light when you're quietly in the, what I call our orchard, but it is very small, but it's an orchard. But you're underneath the trees and you're not making any noise. You know, the thing about a bear is if you make noise, they'll run before you ever even know they're there, most of the time. And so when I was picking the bears, of course, that's a quiet chore that doesn't make a lot of noise. And I made sure that my back was not towards the woods. Something I wouldn't have given much notice to. I know they were always around before, but not quite as active as this one has been. So, yeah, we'll see how far that goes. And because we believe that we have encroached on Teddy's home. And we certainly have, because there's 25,000 acres to the north of us. There's nothing but a wilderness area. So we are on the very edge. Therefore, it's his home more than ours. And I don't want to make any big complaints about him, because then they'll come out and they'll trap him and they'll take him away. And, you know, no. Matt in Texas says, hello, Gem and Rock family. Hope everyone is well and has had a chance to get the latest items they want. The good folks at customer service let me know that they will call me to finalize the sale of the Wolfenite when the system is working again. I heard that you definitely are the one that got the Wolfenite, and may have already been shipped it. I've been watching shows from years ago, since there's been a delay in posting the next show, likely because of the computer issues. Correct. One show that stands out is from November 8th, 2021. So many great items, including my favorite Echinites that Professor Shawn graciously shared with me. An Axonite was also featured on a dop stick. I really want one. So many other fascinating items that are now in y'all's collections. Exactly. When you go back and look, just think about that. Since Matt, you kind of started the party a little later than others, that those great items have found other homes, but there's more great items as time goes forward. And maybe some of the best is still yet to come. And remember, I mean, those Echinites could have been purchased in many years past, but no, they saved themselves for you, Mr. Matt. So, you know, you have to think that, you know, things wind up where they're supposed to be. And speaking of, so there's the proof. There's the proof of the Axonite that, you know, I ended up having to find another one for Brad, because that one on the dop stick, that big one on the dop stick, has chosen to be shy and hide itself from me, that I still cannot find. But I know I have it. And as soon as I get it, I mean, I cannot wait to cut it. But, because everyone has seen how that last amazing one came out. Let's see. I have also been studying and searching for display products that would allow me to sometimes safely display portions of my collection, switching them around for variety. Professor, do you have any large faceted red rutile to share? I have a small one that's fascinating to look at. Looking forward to the next show. Be well, all. Matt, as red rutile, it sounds rare, and it is rare. Has a really high refractive index, and it is not as rare as you might think, or as expensive as one might think. But remember, it is, of course, below the hardness level necessary for it to be of jewelry value. So it's strictly a collector gem. I don't happen to have any of that. But it can be found and bought relatively inexpensively. But you have to watch that for the inclusions, and it splinters easily. So, unless you get a really nice one, it can be quite included and may not give you all the thrill that a clean one would, especially in regards to dispersion and its actual true color. When you say red, there's a wide range that they call red. That to me, it's far from red, more like brown. And if I'm real imaginative, maybe I see red in it, that kind of thing. So watch for that. You want to make sure you get every angle on seeing the gem if you buy over the internet. Be well, Mr. Matt. Miss Jan B says, Shawn, so glad to see your show. Hello, everyone. Hoping Father's Day was special. And Shawn, for you too, of course. My new favorite gems are moonstones, specifically the blue ones. If you can find more to sell, maybe a bracelet, a beaded one, or just one to carry around with me, I'd love the opportunity to own it, especially from you. Great show as always. Take care. Thank you. Hugs for you and fellow gem collector family. Hugs back at you, Miss Jen. And moonstones are great. They're a wonderful June birthstone, and they are affordable, of course, within reason. They used to be a lot more affordable before the blue moonstone and rainbow moonstone phase really took off. And now, again, some of them can be as much as any gemstone, like the one I mentioned last week that I had sold years ago. Oh, love to have that stone back. But yes, moonstone is one of those stones that Raven will actually carry around in her pocket for her. She wears moonstone and likes moonstone a lot, and good energy from it. And of course, I told my moonstone story last weekend. If you missed it, go back and listen to last weekend's show about the deposit I saw on Lake Lanier when the lake was historically low. Quite the find. And then it was like the Lost Dutchman mine. It was there. I saw it. I took some rocks from it, just like the Lost Dutchman. He had some proof. Left the mine, never found it since. Same thing with me. The water covered it up. I would have no concept of where it was with the water up. I mean, if I tried to dive for it, if I was one of those, because in my mind, the land points would be totally different when the water is 20 feet higher. So anyway, it was a really neat, though, discovery from a distance that comes with a great story of one of those deals, only happens once. And it was a record low for Lake Lanier, which was dammed up in the mid 50s. So, maybe once in a lifetime low record to be able to access that outcropping of moonstone. Next time, wow, I would love to come back with 100 pounds of that material. And there was hundreds. There was easily a ton. From what I know, rocks, weight, and size of that outcropping, I could have pulled out a couple thousand pounds of that material. Wouldn't that have been something? We have Cindy in... so Miss Jan, I'll always keep an eye out for anything else as far as by way of a bracelet or anything fun like that. But the rough stuff, and I do have tumbled Georgia moonstone still. So maybe I'll bring in some of those parcels of tumbled material, and maybe those will work for you. There's some peach moonstones in there and all, and that's a great story. I'll tell you when I bring those in as well. For those of you that don't remember, Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Hello, Rock family, long time no see. That's the truth. Excellent show, Shawn. I bet all of you at Gem Shopping are happy to have the computer crash behind you. Well, it's not quite all the way in the rearview mirror, but we're working on it. What a nightmare that must have been. Oh, yes, worse so for some others than myself. I think Asif has invented some new words. Christy did call me, but I had to cancel the order due to some issues that I had happen. Long story. I regret that I lost out on the Arizona fire agates and the Australian azurite suns. I was really looking forward to getting them, but life had other plans for me. Isn't that the way it happens? Looking forward to next week. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. I turned the air conditioning off today after a solid 7 days of 90 with heat indices of 100. And I watched the heat in Pennsylvania and Ohio because it was odd. The week that Raven, her daughter Summer, and her boyfriend were up visiting her family in Columbus, Ohio, every day from the low at night to the high during the day here in Georgia, it was cooler at night and it was cooler during the day than it was in central Ohio. And I mean by like 7 and 8 degrees. So they were sweltering, and you know, it didn't seem too bad, but I see we have nothing but like 90s. That's too hot. It was funny because, right, Dave and I were looking at the top of our mountain, Brasstown Mall here in Georgia, the highest mountain we have, what the average highs and days for right now are. And it is like the low 70s and in the mid to upper 50s at night. Like perfect weather. If I could only live at 400 feet up on top of the mountain all the time, that would be neat. Well, I'm going to do my show from there. Matt in Texas says, and this, Matt, really gets me here. Dear Professor, I ordered the Geiger counter. He got the Geiger counter. I froze the videos and contacted the brand. And yeah, so he let me do all the homework, and then, which I did. So it probably was an okay, wise move because I've done that before. People that are in the know, I'll just get what they got because I know that they would have done the homework, and I did. And I ended up actually ordering mine. I got the vice president of sales on the phone, and he was the nicest gentleman. And this is a good number of years ago. So so what Matt got, and this, you know, when he was asking me all those questions about, you know, safety and all, and the key to safety when you're dealing with those kind of minerals, without a doubt, first thing isn't lead. It's a Geiger counter. And then they're fun. You will have the most fun with that, measuring everything in distance and seeing what stops a particle and what doesn't. And but he sent me a picture of the one he got, and his has got all the bells and whistles, and of course he's got the new improved new model. I'm sure. I love buttons on things, and with these only 2 buttons on it, the way they do it, you know, you hit one button twice, and this you can do probably every control that's on his, except his is just got more buttons on it and probably easier and more direct, and of course, you know, the electronics are all going to be the same, even from the ones even. If you have one from the 1950s, they're still going to work same, you know, kind of effect. So great choice. And boy, Matt, you got a really nice model. And that was a really wise thing to do. And believe me, it will be the best thing for your collection that you will have ever gotten. And then I want to hear back. Tell me then, measure your all-2-night, your Meta all-2-night against your other ones, and tell me which one is your highest CPM, count per minute, that you get, and see if it's not the all-2-night. Okay, so now we have Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. She says, welcome back. Items were finally available Monday afternoon. I snagged the gem silica. I know. See, that's where Harry was looking for it, but just timing and the way it worked out. So, but I know Barbara had been looking one for quite some time, and so I'm happy for Barbara. Sparkly vanadinite and the mini azurite suns I thought those suns were fake when they came onto the market, even though being offered by a reputable dealer. They arrived Saturday. Yay. I know, but they're not. They're the real deal. It seems like they would be because associated with a kaolinite like that. But they're the real deal. The textbooks which say there is no blue garnet will have to be rewritten. Aren't those little jewels sweet? The garnets follow the Vulcan principle of IDIC, infinite diversity in infinite combinations. Those of you who are not Star Trek fans wouldn't know about the Vulcan ideology of that's Lieutenant Commander Spock. And when I first started here at Gem Shopping, the blue garnet craze was in full mode. And many vendors were offering it like it was brand new. Had never been seen before. Blue garnets, not even known, never written about. Brand new to nature. Well, all of that wasn't so. Bakili, Madagascar, at the time it was 20 years prior, so now at about 8 more years, about 30 years ago, blue garnets were found and color change garnets in Bakili, Madagascar. And so that wasn't a brand new color to garnet on the market. You just had to do a little deeper research, and you could have easily found scientific articles in regards to that. So that's why she says, yes, the textbooks do say no blue garnets. And all the ones prior to that time period wouldn't say that. And so when the big color change garnet that went blue to that maroon kind of color, it was such a big thing when they found them. And they found them in the Kenya area. And it wasn't as big of a thing as people made them out. And the prices shot up. And they're still expensive stones, and they're still rare, and they're still beautiful. But it wasn't the first time that they'd ever been seen. It was the first time that there was ever enough of them to bring to market and big enough sizes that they could promote them to a level of clientele that could pay the bigger prices, and therefore the whole market pushed up on them across the board. But they certainly are unique, amazing little critters there, as Miss Barbara does say. That's why the garnet family, not only being my birthstone, but by far is my favorite stone is opal. Because still, there's not a synthetic opal that they've made that I can't tell the difference. And just visibly. And then, but overall, for a gemstone and a gemstone family, the garnet family, it is the family that is not and can't really be synthesized. And then, of course, you have the 6 different family members within it, and then subfamilies underneath that. So you have every combination, kind of like tourmaline, and yet it's an easier understood family than, let's say, even than the tourmaline family. The tourmaline family can, just due to the tourmaline elemental makeup, is so complex. And the garnet family, it really isn't. They have the same endings, some very short beginnings. The only thing that they did is intermingle, but they only intermingle within their own family. And that's what's pretty neat. And that's why it's still easy to understand. Rhodolite garnet, 70% pyro, 30% almandine, roughly, those kind of things. And the most beautiful, beautiful, and they're hard. Good hardnesses to them, high refractive indexes. It's a great family. She goes on to say, Miss Barbara goes on to say, I'll keep this short so you can get to more merch. Be cool. All the Big Apple is applesauce. Barbara from Brooklyn. I take it you're cooking there. Then Elisa in Florida. Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and the Rock family. Brad, you are awesome, and it was touching to see such kindness. If anyone missed it, that was when Brad returned an incredible opportunity and value in a pair of Koroi boulder opals, and I had no more, and that Penny was needing it pretty much the exact 2 stones that happened to be in that parcel, an inexpensive one and a better one. And Brad actually returned his so that she could have them. And very noble. Appreciated your kind words of thanks for his service. And hold on, let me go right back here because I didn't start at the beginning. Shawn, my husband appreciated your kind words of thanks for his service, and we are excited to start this new chapter in our lives. He's retiring, so that's really exciting. I know having a son that's about 5, 6 years away from being able to do that. That's a big moment when a serviceman comes home for good, because my son has been posted around the world nonstop. And we are excited to start this new chapter in our lives. I was glad to see this week's show had posted. My favorite item was the Namibian dioptase and calcite specimen. Wow. Looking forward to your next show. Take care, everyone, and have a good week, Miss Elisa. Yeah, if that dioptase didn't sell this time around, I am going to be really amazed, because it's from the Sumed mine, which has been closed and is probably in one of the top 5 mines of all time in the world for its known long time of not only production of ore minerals, but of collectible mineral specimens, and for the giant variety of different minerals it produced as well. So, whoever knows when you hit that little vein that is exposed on the surface of the ground, what it can eventually lead to. And, some mountains end up to be riddled like an anthill with miles and miles of underground workings in them. And it all started with just a little outcropping that some rockhound like me came along and, like that t-shirt I showed last weekend, and chipped away at a rock. I can't tell you the number of different what they call them is prospects. They're not actually, they don't call them mines. So like on the Geological Survey and all, they call them prospects. And what they are, and I've had my hopes with many of them in investigating them. They'll start, in other words, they'll find a quartz vein, let's say on the surface, especially like in the Gold Belt here in Georgia. And so, they had a lot more fortitude and no mechanical equipment back in the day. So nowadays, you see a quartz vein, you could go in with a big backhoe and dig it out and go far enough into it to see if there's much of anything else, or just ignore it. Well, to the miners back then, seldom were they ever ignored. A good quartz vein, that's the only really way you're going to find gold in these areas. That's where most of them are run. The gold vein runs in quartz. So they would start prospecting on the surface, digging at that vein, and get 10 feet, 20 feet, however far before they realized that it was hopeless. I've seen them go straight down. I've seen them go sideways into a mountain, and they end. And what that is them following up, hoping. That's a sign of hope. And a little hope is better than nothing. And you never know when that quartz vein, if you see it just on the surface and there's no gold, after a few whacks, you break off a few pieces. But how do you know in the next few feet that's where the gold starts? And so many times, I had a person I took in one of the mine shafts, and it went back about 150 feet. This was up in outside Helen, Georgia, in White County. And so I took the person back in the back, and it was so low we had to stoop, and you could see the pick marks on the side of the shaft. And it was just self-supporting. But you could actually see the pick marks. So this would have been in the year of around 1828, 1829, 1830. And in discussing the history of them, those pick marks were not made, and where it was, they were made with, say it like it is, slave labor. And I couldn't imagine stooping over at that height, swinging a pick, hand digging out these shafts. So when we got to the end of this one particular shaft, when I was giving someone a tour of it, basically, because I'm the only one that knows where these are back in the woods, these hidden ones. And he said, well, how come they stopped here? Why didn't they keep digging? And, maybe in the next 10 feet, they would have found something. I said, probably because 50 feet ago, they probably should have had that conversation and stopped then. So it's at what point do you stop and give up? Because the gold fever sets in to where the miner, the prospector, thinks the next whack with my chisel is going to do it. The next blast of dynamite is going to hit the big pocket. And it does happen. But the percent of chance that it happens to and the number of times, yeah. If they had lottery tickets then, they'd probably have better luck buying a lottery ticket. So, okay. There is no trivia today, so we don't have that to do, but there is lots more. Wait till you see what I have coming up. Be right back. Okay, so we have item 482-118-6124. 482-118-6124. Now, you're going to see the graphics look a little bit differently, but that is all part of some of the change Gem Shopping is going through as far as the computer, etc. So just go along with us. What's going to be most important, thank you, Dave, is that you listen to my description. And that is where you need to take your notes from. And that's what's nice about this, of course, not being live, is you can hit the rewind and replay and get to hear and see it as many times as you want. And that's going to be important because you're going to hear some great stuff about things you've never seen, including this particular mineral specimen right here. I don't think I've ever showed one. This is Moroccan erythrite. Now, erythrite is one of those ores that, or minerals you don't hear too often about. It is a cobalt arsenate, and that combination of the cobalt brings you that, ladies, you would know that color better than I. What is that, a magenta, cranberry, I don't know, but it is, what you're seeing color-wise is exactly the color. They have captured this color exactly the way my human eye is seeing it now. Look at those outstanding colors. It's particular colors like this color of erythrite, dioptase, the color of dioptase. There's pyromorphite is another one. Some of the colors are just of certain minerals are so electric, unlike any others. Now, look at this. Look at the hexagonal shape right there. Of that you can tell is a quartz crystal. You have these intermingled, look at this, with these beautiful, well-defined quartz crystals. And as I turn this piece, look at that. Look at how gorgeous this material is. And you can see it's intermingled through the rest of the piece. And now I had some of these years and years and years ago, and look at that as I come around the corner. And, some of the specimens, don't worry, you didn't miss out on some because some were in the upwards of, $400 or $500, some really amazing pieces. So maybe you did miss out on something if you had that kind of budget, but this makes it affordable. You can still have something really gorgeous and it be affordable. Look at this. What you have to look carefully at, and then even under higher magnification when you get it at home, look at that little crystal right there. that is standing out. And then you have these smaller ones that are magnificent. Let's see the underside of this. Brings us more color. And look at miniature crystals throughout. So being a cobalt arsenate, it isn't found in too many places. And in Bouasser, Morocco is one, in the mining district there, is one of the areas that the finest specimens really come from. This one I am offering at a great opportunity. You can see it, the size of it in my hand. So it's a wonderful size specimen still for only $68. $68. And so this is associated with quartz. And then this material, you know, pretty much all they ever say is it's an ore material. So it's probably, you know, has a manganese oxide. I always like to say usually covers a lot of that. But you could probably do a little bit research and get a little closer as to what kind of matrix is exactly involved with that. But you can see as it goes through there. Now remember, this is also found in the some of the veins where silver runs. So you can have other associated minerals that may very well be part of. So now I have this one and one other erythrite to show you, and that is item 48211. Let's see, 482-118-6224. 482-118-6224. And let me show you this one. And to keep it simple, you have to just remember the difference in the item numbers because the price stays the same, $68 as this one. So $68 on this one, and I'll just put the two side by side for a moment. Okay, I will. Let me just show these two for side by side for a moment so you can see the difference in the two. And I don't know, this one should have been priced up higher. Maybe I did it that way because it's a little smaller, but we'll move that one out of the way and put that one right in there. But look at how beautiful that looks for a display item. Even though it's, you know, doesn't have the large size, with the larger sizes comes the much higher prices. And even as a single crystalline specimen like this, it should be much higher. There's not many choices you have to get, and what is available can be very expensive. So to get a really nice display piece, look at this, of this size with that kind of quality and spray of crystals for only $68 also. I just made it simple. I made the two prices simple. Look at that. Wow. I'm not so sure that this shouldn't have been more. It's a little bit smaller overall, but boy, that crystal is really, really gorgeous. In both pieces there are. I tell you what, this is my thinking. If you loved the combination of the quartz and the erythrite, that other piece was magnificent because I loved the quartz crystals with it. This one has some beautiful, let me get my pointer, quartz crystals. Look at that. Embedded almost, where the erythrite has grown over them or part of them. Look at that. Look at the size of this one. So it's not totally without its quartz crystals by any means. They just looked a little enveloped by that stunning cobalt mineral. And then the other side of this is beautiful too. Look at that. You can see how it just runs in the veins like that. And so what that is, little fissures in the rock. And look at that. See that? So you can see the crystals grew on the top and the bottom to where they come together. where they don't totally come together, they leave a little opening, a little pocket like that. And that's kind of neat. Look at the clarity to some of this. I have never seen a faceted one, but I can't imagine that there's not one somewhere that someone hadn't faceted or found a piece large enough, clear enough, big enough to be able to do that. This is quite striking and will stand out. You can see it in my hand, so you have a size reference. It'll stand out in a showcase because look at that, of that color. It really is magnificent. So keeping it simple on the two, price stays the same. Interesting fact, if you were to guess, remember different family, what minerals belong to what family groups, this is one you probably wouldn't get. Now, I haven't ever shown you, but I'm familiar with it, Vivianite. It belongs to the Vivianite group of minerals. And what that has to do with is the ending. So this is a cobalt arsenate, ASO4 is how it ends. And so the Vivianite group is going to be other minerals that have the same ending, but a different portion at the beginning part, just similar to so many other family groups. And erythros, of course, someone like Penny would know where that name comes from. The Greek word for red is erythro, so hence right? And crystals are rare. They're monoclinic in shape. And again, the hardness is only 1.5 to 2.5. Another reason that would make it extremely difficult to facet. But as a crystal specimen, that is outstanding. Now, I have another jewel here for you. And there's something that's going to make this one a little different than the others. This is going to be item 482-118-6624. 482-118-6624. Now, you've seen these. I've offered them, but not quite like this. And wow, if I had a different kind of a live situation where you go back and forth, I would say what makes this different than the other vanadinite and barite specimens I have featured. Now, you've seen these before because if I turn this around like this, thank you, Dave, and you will see that, yeah, this looks very much like what you've seen before. The vanadinites on top of the crystals of barite. And you can see, look at those, well-defined. Look at how pretty they are. They will range in color from like orangish red to caramel color, and in that range. Now, as we turn this, though, there's something really different, and it should really stand out about right now. Out of all the specimens I've had of these, and I have had, I don't know, 100 plus in this size range. I think I bought several flats because I love the look. It reminded me of the garnets on smoky quartz, the way the vanadinite grows on top of the barite. But this is the only one, I'm telling you, that has these white spherules or like a botryoidal material. Okay, so look as you look closer, look at all of them. Look at all these little white dots, so to speak. But of course, nothing grows as a dot. It grows in a crystalline type of form, and this is its particular habit. Because when I tell you what mineral this actually is, you're not going to have known. But you will have seen it in other forms. Aragonite. Yep. It is aragonite. And so aragonite, remember, is a calcium carbonate. It is a polymorph of calcite, so it has the same chemical formula, CaCO3. And so when I was researching for what this other mineral could be, out of all the choices in MINDAT, which is a excellent reference site, and I highly recommend it. You can't buy anything from them. That's what makes it great. And it's an incredibly useful site. And I've mentioned it, so make sure it's mindat.org, that everyone is familiar with it, because it will do nothing but back up what information I already give you. So sometimes I have to use it. Yep, I have to admit, sometimes Mindat has information I don't know. And I'm teasing, because it's a way to reference and assure myself that what I think something is, because if I see a specimen of it similar, then I know. And boy, right on the money. I found one with only a few that had aragonite with them out of all the pictures of the combination of the two, which tells me how unique and rare that it actually is to have the aragonite on as part of the other two minerals with it. So this is from the Mabladen, Medel province. And of course, vanadiumite is just a lead chlorovanadate, so lead, chlorine, and vanadium. And so I put the Geiger counter to it, all safe there, and I put the fluorescent unit to it, and didn't get any big bang for colors there, but it's got a stunning mix of crystals and is beautiful. And you can see the barite, and barite is stunningly heavy. So this specimen, you can really feel the weight to it. And then wait, there's more. No. So look back here. You can see that there is additional little druzy growth, and you turn it over here. And the black, most of the time, again, let's just call it manganese oxide, pyrolusite. Everybody else does. Most likely that is what it is, or goethite is found with these two. So this is a great mix, and I think the angle I like best, and this sits on its own like this. Look at that. Look at that. That is an attractive look. All that for, and this is what makes it kind of silly. Here's the importance, the aragonite. The aragonite adds value. A lot more than only the $38 I'm asking for that. Yep, $38. So I'm starting off softly on you, because we're going to work up to something a little bit more than that. But we'll just start there. I have something really cool. This is item 482-118-6724. 482-118-6724. Now, since we were talking about my birthstone, let me show you. I have something here right along those lines. Take a look at this. Let me just scoot this over and move this out of the way. Here is some stunning, let me bring this in to give you some, I'm going to put those in front of the light here in just a moment. All right, look at this. This is a faceted, kind of briolet shape garnet necklace. And look at the clarity to these. And I want to call them, they're really a rhodolite look. And so in checking them, doing my quick test on them, it seemed to be, excellent, Dave. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. Wow. So I'm going around every one of these, and you're getting to see these. So everyone's faceted. Look at these. And so I could tell that they seem to be a combination of almandine and pyro. So there was a magnetic response, not as strong as if it was all almandine. So therefore, they could definitely be in the pyro range. And so then coming all around to the back here. So, yeah, for 16 inches, not 16 inches unstrung. And so you can string them to make them longer. really at the price, there's like 75 carats roughly 75 carats. And look at this. Look at the nice size. They're not those small beads. Look at that. So yeah, really nice size to them. I only had gotten one of these. I wished I had gotten more because I should really keep a strand. But I would have no problem wearing those myself. I'm an old hippie. And, you know, birthstone, good energy. My dad's birthstone, of course, being born on his birthday. My sister who's passed away, she was born in January as well. So that's good stuff. But I'm going to sell these off. Only one strand. Who's going to be lucky first buyer? I should have an auction going, too bad I can't do that. Reminds me of my days when we used to do the auctions. Because I know I could have gotten more than $36. Yeah, definitely more than $36. But that's why you guys love me. Okay, let me breathe a moment here and put up a couple items. Wait till you see what's coming. Wait till you see. This is what some of you have been looking for. This is item 482-118-6024. 482-118-6024. And I am telling you what, I didn't know that I had one that was this small, that I could make of a decent price. Fibrous malachite. Look at this. Now, I know some of you were wanting a malachite that was like that one I had months ago that was crystalline. Now this, believe me, is all fibrous crystal. So this is crystalline, but the one I know they're referencing had a lot of individual distinct crystals that look, you know, were completely transparent and green. This does have some of those little microcrystals. If we look right in here, and then let me go ahead and add my a little bit more magnification to it. Where am I looking? Oh, right there. Right in here. There you go. See that? You can see that there is definitely those individual crystals that like were in that one specimen. I'll clean my loop in the meantime. The neat thing, this piece is, it's kind of like the what do they call it? Micro suede chairs or whatever, where, you know, if you sat down on the chair, you could see exactly, you know, your impression you left behind. Pun intended. So it's like you brush it and the color changes. And that's what you get when you turn this around in all the different ways. It is like like that little micro fiber. Look at that. This is remarkable. And this is comes from a well-known mine for fibrous malachite, the Lakasi mine, and in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And this could be situated to self-display in so many different directions. Look at that. I mean, and any light on it, in one angle or another, you are going to get a stunning reflection. I was looking again for some of those little crystals, and you can look at that one up there, bridging across there, going in that direction. Wow. Yeah, that's definitely one of the ones like they're talking about. And then down in here also, it's basically when those translucent to transparent crystals just grow and form close together that you get that look. This little darker material here, I believe, is just some goethite that is found or formed with it, or maybe just a well-oxidized type of copper mineral. There are many, many things. Look it down in there. I just spotted that. Wow, look at those X marks the spot. Hold on. Let me see that. See, it's something as simple as that that makes me want to keep certain specimens. When I find something, look at as simple as back in the back of that little pocket. Look at that. X marks the spot in green fibrous malachite. That's kind of neat. And then another beautiful crystal in front of it. Yep. That's what I talk about when I say, get your mineral specimens out and play with them. That means get the light, get the magnification, start looking around them, and no telling what you're going to find. I have on this, for the size, it's the aesthetics of this one that could really command a lot more than what I'm asking for it. Of course, everything I'm asking for, these things is well below the market that they would be anyway. So when I offer something, let me show it to you in my hand. A lot of people like to see that so you get an idea. Look at that. So a fantastic specimen this size. And I'm going to do that one for the opportunity of only $68 as well. So it seems to be a $68 day with two erythrites in that range. And now this stunning piece. And this is one of those that you can get another like fibrous malachite piece, pay the same amount, but the bang for the buck, the return for the same amount of money, there's no way you can find this much fibrous look, that reflection, that reflective kind of look that you want in a fibrous malachite, because all those little clusters, those sprays, are going in every imaginable different direction from every different angle. Therefore, you can look at dozens of other specimens in the same range and size, and none of them might have all that one does. That's what made that special and why I have enjoyed it for what it is. So take advantage. I have something really weird to show you. I don't mean weird, but I do mean weird. It's kind of weird cool. Hold on. It is something all of you, many of you, I guess, have wanted over the years, and many going back years and years. And I have had some. I always told you I had some, but I had never brought it out and, so to speak, offered it. Well, this time, now I have decided to offer it. It is item 482-118-5924. 482-118-5924. And these go back a long time. So let me show you one of the parcels, and you won't miss out because there's I'll tell you how many. Let's see, five different opportunities, and let me just show you all the bags because they're all have the exact same weight and the exact same number of stones. So when that happens, you're getting a evenly divided up among size and shape. So these are all ovals, okay? So I'm going to just show you the bags, and I'm going to show you what they are in a minute, okay? So they're all mixed sizes, all same weight, and we'll just randomly pick, I don't know, any one of them, but that one will do. Okay, so look what I was able to get many years ago. I can't even much find this. This is true Honduran black opal. Now, I'm talking about, goes back to the 70s. And the Honduran black opal is a rhyolitic-based opal. In other words, a volcanic-based opal. You know about rhyolite. And what these are, let me show you. Look at the back. These are completely untreated. No treatments done to these. Okay, this is the back of one of them. When it's polished, look at that play of color. Look at that. And that's completely natural. So what has been done, these have have had a calibrated quartz dome put on them. And this is how you make doublets. So these are basically pre-form doublets. Now, of course, a long time ago, you might have heard about the using sulfuric acid and a sugar. So the heat treatment sugar process, and it was for smoking opals darker. And in some cases, that is needed. In this case, you can tell that these are just of a natural dark base. You can see actually coming around here where it's not all black, so you know it's not all been smoked dark. This is your natural volcanic rhyolite. And so the funny thing is, I got these finished like they are. This is a rhyolite. I couldn't take, and I meant to get it. I might be able to right here and show you, because ladies, I am going to show you how all of you, not just the ladies, but men as well, can become your own gem cutter. And by that, I mean, all you need is something as simple as in your gents, your dop kit, ladies, in your nail kit or whatever you use for that, and you have a diamond file. You'll have a diamond file in your kit, and with that file, I was looking for mine because I just used mine this morning. But in that file, you're going to, with that file and being diamond, the difference in hardness is going to allow you at ease to be able to sit and file off the edge of that. Now, when that file, all you have to do is get to the edge of the quartz and you're done. Because let me show you. Out of all of them, there were actually a few. Now, these aren't for sale. I just kept these out to show you a before and after and how not to do something. Okay, so here is one with the edges trimmed back. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That is beautiful. And that is not a triplet, it's a doublet. And all that's been done, what you see there is the unpolished quartz. So they have, you've just filed back, or of course, if you have a Dremel or a grinding wheel, it goes really quickly. Now, this is a better one. You want the angle on the side to barely angle downwards. So when you look from it from above, all you see is basically the opal. The opal. You don't see the outward edge of the quartz. And by that, I'll show you when you have too much quartz, see that coming out over the edge, you will get, let me get a pointer. It's not lapidary class, but I know you guys love this stuff anyway. All right, you see that little reflection there? That little reflection line right there that moves? That's what happens. That's what happens if you angle the opal too far away from the quartz. Boy, that is just beautiful, though. That is stunning, the look that these have. Now, these are reminiscent of some of the Australian matrix opals, and they call this black matrix opal. And look at how fine a quality. This is the good stuff. The material they've been pulling out for the years past has not had anywhere near the amount of fire in this in the matrix. So the good stuff from a long time ago is right here in my hand. Wow, it's really, really attractive, and I just get mesmerized by looking at it. So what happens is you had silica that filled in all the little porous openings that the rhyolite has, because it's like pumice. And if you look really close, you can see all these little dots and openings, all of those, even that little line going across there. Opal, little silica, fills in all those little places. Of course, it doesn't get them all, so when you cut it, you still have some of it. So look at this. I am offering, let me make sure I didn't mix up any. So I just want to show you how to do that, because you can do that at home. Just don't trim the angle back too sharply. You just want to pretty much bring it almost straight up and down, just angled back ever so little. And that way you still have the polished quartz dome. You don't have any scratches that look at it from the side, and you get a mesmerizing look. So you can see from like the coloration of this looks like where there was dop wax on the back. But from what I can tell, these do not appear to have any of that sugar and sulfuric acid treatments that they did to this material, and a lot of the Australian material and whatnot has gone through that process. Either way, this is old stock, and the amount of opal silica versus the percentage of rhyolite of the matrix is nothing like what they find today. Today, you get a few little flakes in between a lot of material, and that's what you get. But here, no. Yeah, you can see that little round area. That's where it would have been actually dopped up at some point. But so how about this? You can become your own lapidary, and you can have a lot of fun starting somewhere. You got to start somewhere with cutting and polishing. And if you don't want a big investment, like I said, I don't know what happened to my little file, but I was just going to show you and literally do it in front of you and use my file and show you how easily a diamond file will actually cut and trim that material back. Okay, so now let me put these away so you can see what the goal is. Now, this is black Honduran matrix opal. There's 25 carats in a parcel, 10 stones, and it's in rhyolite. These are from the 1970s. This is old stock I have had. And they're with a cut and polished quartz cap. So that is how the description reads on these. And I have 5 parcels, only 5 parcels that I am offering. And with 10 stones in each parcel. Here is the opportunity that you have long awaited. I hope Anthony is listening and gets in on this. Anthony, I am still, by the way, since we're talking about opal, looking for that Mexican opal parcel. And I don't know, so I guess it's gone the same way as the Cheroites. But anyway, when I find that and an Australian one, I want to send you those opal parcels. I haven't forgot about you. But anyway, if you're not familiar with the Honduran black matrix opal, you need to be. And this is a great way to bring you in on it at a opportunity that anybody is going to be jealous of, because this quality, and that's the difference, the quality, the amount of light that you get out of these is like nothing else you can find these days. So I am offering these, the carat weight, beautiful 25 carats, 10 stones. Wow. I don't really know where to go with this, but here, let's do this. Let's make them only $38 a parcel. I kid you not, $38 a parcel. And you can get more than one if you want, but leave a couple for some others. It's that kind of a deal, because 10 stones, what, you're looking at $3.80 each, and believe me, you can trim this off and away from it. How I got just preformed quartz domed Honduran matrix opal, don't even ask me. Don't even ask. That has been a culmination, getting things like that and the other things you see, of 53 years of collecting. And I got these back in the 70s and was going to do something with them. Of course I was. Yeah, how many hundreds of carats I have. Anyway, yeah, at that price, take advantage. Won't be any more. Okay, now, 482-118-4822, 24, excuse me, 482-118-4824. This is another one that is, remember how I got everything started at an early age in Cowee Valley, Franklin, North Carolina, going to the tourist mines where they salted the buckets with Indian rubies. And, I found stuff. And I thought I found it was 60 plus carats. I thought it was $1 million. And that's what got me interested, was finding an Indian ruby. So over the years, I now learned all about Indian rubies, and I offered a bunch last week, remember, tumbled, that were available. Well, I'm holding it at the edge here. Dave's ready. Look at this. This is not one that I found, but there were certainly stones that in the material that was salted that would cut something of this quality. And that is what was surprising. Look at this large Indian ruby. And they call them rubies. Now, of course, here, technically, it would be a pink, purple sapphire or something like that. But anything reddish, whatnot, over there, they would be called rubies. This one has a really wonderful star for the size that it is. And that's what makes it really pretty neat. It's got a really well-defined star. A lot of them don't. It has some doping material, I think, still on it. Not quite sure. There's some oxidation on it as well. But really the star is the show of this one. Rutile needles lined up to give you that star. And I have a fun price. This is a big stone. I don't have my ruby ring on, but it would dwarf my ruby ring. I do have my garnet on, so let me give you some size reference to that. That would make a really great, see that? Wow, a great silver ring. Just a simple silver ring with a bezel. And, you can hit a piece of corundum like this really hard. And so if you're rough on jewelry, you wouldn't have to worry about breaking it. They're just really durable. The crystal system really holds it well together. Look at this. See, so here, one more note about this, because it's perfect. When I talk about the crystals and I tell you what to look for, because let's see, I think I was 13 when I took a specialized class in just how to cut optical phenomenon stones, cat's eyes, star stones, etc. So and how to orient them and what to look for a star. So here you can see the 6-ray hexagonal shape of the corundum itself. You can see those 6 sides emanating from what would be the center. When you cut a star, you just want to make sure that when a light is pointed or the sunlight directly down on it, that the star is in the middle. In other words, you oriented it correctly. Now, here's the part. Remember when I tell you what to look for? You look for a little sheen. You know, you're not going to see legs here because it's not cut and polished out for those legs yet, but they would appear. It could be double-sided. But that's what you look for, that kind of sheen, that reflection that going across the surface of the stone. And then if you have and can see any kind of crystalline shape, you see that 6-side crystal over here, maybe, but still it's there. Then you have to orient it and align it for the center of the star to be in the center of the stone. And that is another process in itself. But this is a great stone. It is certainly a great, fun educational stone. And I am offering this big stone. And that's really what the treasure is in this, is the size of it, being 15 carats. So how about a deal? At only, wow, that is a deal. Let's make this $48. $48 on that. And again, a lot of stone and a really good value for that. Now, let me show you. Since we're talking about India, see how I kind of have some kind of organization going here. Item 482-118-5324. 482-118-5324. I'm getting ready to show you something you have not probably seen, and you're thinking, what? I've seen a lot. Yep, you have, but not something like this. When I first saw this stone, I thought, oh, that is a Mexican opal. Yeah, looks like it, yeah. But it's not. What am I? What am I? Well, let me give you a little hint, and this is also a little educational opportunity here. Hopefully Dave can work his magic, and oh, great idea, Dave. Thank you. Sorry for my flashing flashlight. Okay, here we go, even though, let me get my pointer. Hold on, Dave. Thanks. There we go. Oh, now I can't find the pointer. Here it is. All right. Here's how you tell that you're getting the real thing. All right. At the edge over here, hold on, there we go. At the edge over here, there we go. As when we focus right here where the point, you're going to see banding in the stone. So let's focus right where the edge of that is. Let me hold this here. Okay. Now, if you look at the edge of the stone where the light is translucent through it, what you can see in this is the banding of the agate itself, because carnelian is a cryptocrystalline quartz, and if we can focus through, what? Oh, is that it? Let me put it right over here then, and backlight that some more right here. Now try it right here. That should be, there we go. There's the light. Thank you, Dave. Sorry about that. All right, you can see that banding, and you see how that banding swoops down here and then over here, just like a natural banded agate would look. And then, of course, you have the inclusion over here, but of course, in a synthetic, you can technically have that, but what you cannot grow or have are these, look at that banding like that. That is how you know you're getting the real deal. Let's turn this over for a minute and see if we can see any telltale signs. There we go, over here as well. Thank you, sir. And that is how you know that, look at that, a facet grade carnelian. Facet grade carnelian. And how unique is that? Isn't that beautiful? I mean, that almost looks like a mandarin garnet. You know, the kind that you can, most people can afford. You know, the opaque ones. But what, for carnelian, that's like at the top of its game. Price on this guy, $21. I know. I go through such effort for so little money. But it's still all about the education that you get and the knowledge. Oh, this is not heat treated either. And you can look and see that it's not, which a lot of carnelian is. But there's actually a quality of carnelian that is available that isn't. And it is right in these color ranges. And that's why this piece could be faceted. It's old. It's long old. I'm not sure. But it is goes back decades on this particular piece. $21 on that one. Excellent. Excellent. Now, I have, let's see here. We're going to get to those in a minute, but let me get through. Item number 482-118-5224. 482-118-5224. And look at this guy. These are all stones I have had that are project stones. I had intended on all of these to do something with them. That's why you're seeing such a unique potpourri of them. Look at this. Now, this is a coarse carved lightning ridge black opal on black onyx. And you can see a nice play of color, especially on the nose. And you can see, look at that now. I saw a little dot of red, I think, right on the edge of his nose. But look at it. Neat carving. Obviously, look at that, how black of opal that is. So nice black lightning ridge on black onyx and an old sticker. So you can tell that is a old estate piece. And I have again, a great value on it. And if you collect Native American different items, then that is one that you won't have. Price on this is an excellent value, because how does this grab you? See the red on the nose? There it is. That's kind of neat. I'm going to make that only, golly, a tough time saying price is this cheap. $28. $28. That's a deal. Okay, now, next. And then we're getting ready to get, oh yeah. Let's look at item 482-118-5524. 482-118-5524. Oh my, I remember the day when I had so many different type of tourmaline dangle earrings of multicolors, faceted tourmaline, watermelon tourmaline. I had so many trapeces, all kind, and emerald, crazy stuff. But out of everything, one thing I did not have much of was this next item. A bicolor cabochon of tourmaline. Look at this. I mean, let me get my little white tray out. Hold on one moment. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're too many baggies and not enough space. Okay. Against the white background. And then look at that. You can see the bicolor nature to the tourmaline. You have a pinkish orange, pinkish peach color there, and a green. You could actually, if you wanted to, flip this over and cut it, facet it this way. and make it like that's a preform and facet a stone out of it, because, you know, if it's included, it might help it. But anyway, this is a big fun cab. You can have fun making a wire wrap piece out of it, do something inexpensive in silver out of it, whatever you choose, but it's going to be a deal for you, because it is only that big stone. It's calibrated 18 by 13, and I think it's like 15 carats, $28. $28, less than $2 a carat. That's a really, and the thing about it is, what makes it really special is the fact that it's a cabochon. The cabochon part, because you just don't see them like that. Okay, let me, I'm getting ready for a really neat presentation here, but we're building up to it. Let me put up some things and I'll be right back. I have something none of you have seen. Item number 482-118-6324. And by that, I mean a complete understanding of gem silica. Let me show you. I have this incredible piece. Let me show you first the way I have it here. It is sitting on chrysocolla. You'll see the green bed in a moment. And what you're going to see, this piece I've had for a long, long time. It's from the Ray mine. Now, let me show you. I had intended on creating something with this, but wasn't sure. But then I decided to use it as an educational item. And let me show you why. Okay, when I was looking at this is exactly, look at the layer of the silica, and it is sitting barely on top of a layer of chrysocolla. As I spin this around, you're going to continue to see that. How exactly the silica, which is chalcedony type of quartz, followed and formed right contouring to the chrysocolla. Now, you can see underneath that is chrysocolla. For any of us who have cut chrysocolla, a lot of you might be used to the good stuff, but it often looks like this. Let me show you the good stuff, because in having this piece, a piece of it came off, and you can see the little piece also below, but that's okay, because look what's underneath. Look at that. If you ever wondered what some of the finest quality chrysocolla looks like, you're looking at it right there. That color blue. It is the copper ions in this blue chrysocolla that leaches into the quartz silica, the chalcedony silica, and colors it the green to blue colors that you see. And in this piece, it is a perfect educational tool, besides being neat as can be, because if you wire wrapped it just as it is, I think that is a incredible display of chrysocolla and gem silica in a way that I have not seen displayed before. You know, you see the two polished together, but they all are blended together. It's not like this. I have never seen a piece where the silica layer is able to be removed. Now, let me show you. This is classic chrysocolla. I mean, this color oftentimes, and you can see the greener bands running in this, and then you get to this better green on top. Well, on top of that green is this blue. Can we go in any closer there, Dave? Look at that. You see the botryoidal nature? And then you can see through the druzy quartz that botryoidal form. Look at that. Look at the hills and valleys, so to speak, underneath that. And let me do one more thing. Let me take you in close for a moment here. And look at that. There we go. Look at that beautiful blue. And then look at that incredible blue to the quartz. Now, the other piece, look at this. So you get to see, look at that druzy. And then the back side of it, you have some chrysocolla that actually adhered to it. And then you have the edge, which due to oxidation at the edge, you're going to get a different color of both the chrysocolla and of the gem silica, as you can see, the little bit different color green. But this is one of the most interesting pieces I have ever seen with that coming off like that to show you. And I'll put the 3 pieces back together like that. And you could actually glue that if you wanted to. I'd use a glue that was dissolvable in water, because I actually prefer that to be able to be taken off for education. But if you use it for a piece of jewelry, then you would want to glue it. And you can glue it so you can really not even tell when you take your time and put that up there, like you saw when I first had it. So that is an excellent piece. And for those of you who have missed out and wanted an affordable piece of gem silica, try this one out for size, because I am offering that for only $77. And you could travel the world and not see another piece with gem silica over the chrysocolla that is removable like that. Okay, now let me get going here. I have next item number 1185624. 482-118-5624. I have over all these years shown you very little of what I'm getting ready to show you next. And that is another blue stone. Look at this. Turquoise. Yep, turquoise. 3 pieces, and I'm going to teach you a little bit about it. These have been backed, but they have not been treated. These are natural turquoise. So you can see the backing, and I love that the cutter actually used native material that was found most likely with the turquoise, because the backing resembles the matrix that is in this turquoise. Now, one quick way to show you it has not been dyed or been filled, treated, resonated, and everything else they do to turquoise. You can see this obviously open line there that would have actually probably dried out after it was obviously cemented to the backing. And that's what you get and can end up with when it's not stabilized or treated. But that's okay. I will take that over a stabilized piece any day of the week, even though the majority of all turquoise that you ever see has been treated and stabilized. Here's the other thing to show you. Let's see, was it in this one? Yeah, so the other way, any of these lines, if you see, that's not a fissure. There is not any dye, because it would be a darker color. So you know that there has been no dye done to that turquoise, but it did need to be backed, because most turquoise is found in little thin seams and often does need to be supported. This other piece, let me show you really quickly here. There is, oh, okay, you see this little line going through it right here, all the way through it, this little, if this had been treated or dyed, dye concentrates in the little lines and fissures like that, that would show. It would be a dye line all the way across and in that fissure. You don't see any of that. The other thing, see the modeling, the different colors that you see in the turquoise here, that's actually a good sign that it has not been treated or dyed in any way. You can also tell by the feel and the weight if something has been treated. They treat them with polymer resins, and they are heavy. When you add resins to a turquoise, it adds weight to it. So you can see also how uneven the piece of turquoise was. So by adding the backing to it, it's like almost the way they will do opal, boulder opal. You can see that I like it because the material used makes it look very natural. And I'm actually looking, I'm looking for a straight line that looks like where it has been made a doublet. Maybe this one here. Other than that, that looks almost all through here. It looks completely natural. I'm not so sure that this entire stone isn't natural. The only straight line I see is right there. I'll think I guess it's still, either way. Okay, look at the size of these. 3 large. Oh, did we look at this one? Here. Look at the color of this. This is Sleeping Beauty blue. But what you also want to see, you want to see these other colors. You want to see this mottling of blue, these different mottling of colors. Tells you it's not been dyed, treated. You see this line through here? There's not concentration of dye in there. And when they stabilize and they do the colors, believe me, they don't leave these spots in there. So this, to me, again, looks like, you can see that straight line across like that, so you know it's a doublet when it's something like that. That other one, I'd have to look closer. Again, here's a piece that, again, the back was attached. It probably, which of course you know, turquoise has a water content, and that's the problem with a lot of it. Dries out and gets chalky, and that's why a lot of it is stabilized. That piece, nope. That's what you get when you don't stabilize them. You can have that happen, and why they stabilize them. But give me that unstabilized any day. Okay, the parcel, those 3 large pieces, $88. Turquoise is not inexpensive. But that is a bargain, especially for those large sizes. Now, let me show you. Next item. Item number 118-5724. 482-118-5724. Next, I have another opportunity on turquoise. And let me put these nuggets out here. And then I have 3 more to this parcel. Okay, here's the 3 others. I think that these might have been treated, but I tell you what, when you feel the weight of that, it certainly kind of feels like it. The other thing is the discoloration. This one, you can actually see some of the resin treatment that has oozed out of it, so to speak. So it needed to be cleaned up. Yeah, you can see that this one's been treated. Treatment often can discolor over time. You will get, that one's been drilled. And this has been a bead next to another bead, and then has some, there's the material. So I think that one's been treated. Okay, so some of these have been drilled, others have not. I'm looking for something, that one's specific, easy to tell. Look at this. This is a nice nugget, almost looks like variscite. Unsure of that. I see those lines of color, but I don't see, that might have been treated. Okay, now, but back here, I set these apart so you can find them. You can look at that one. It's drilled. I do not see any other signs that that's been treated. That looks like a natural nugget to me. This one, it's been drilled as well. That one looks like a natural nugget to me. This one, you can see the colors in it. Those different, that's okay, because it could be just a different part of the turquoise. But that one looks kind of natural. So anyway, you can pretty much assume that any turquoise you buy, unless it is said to you otherwise and told you otherwise, that it will and has been treated. This parcel of everything you see is only $28. $28, and look at the size of that one piece right there. That will cut a great stone. And it may not have any treatments, but I tell you what, when you get to cutting it, you will smell. That's the quickest and easiest way as a cutter. If you use a hot pen, it might work if there's enough resin in the piece or epoxy. But as soon as you cut into any of it, it is very obvious a piece that has been treated. It will stink. Now, I have let's see here. Getting ready to give you a wow factor, but let me make sure I've got everything else. Okay. Let me put those up. Let me see. Okay, let me show you one other item here. And then this is item 482-118-5424. 482-118-5424. Blue forest petrified wood. One of my most favorite petrified woods of all. And it is super unique because of the way it formed. You had, imagine in the back of a cove of a lake where the water doesn't move much, it's swampy, a tree falls in. Before the tree rots, it forms algae. I see it all the time on the lake here. It forms algae around the limb. In the meantime, sediment forms, sinks it all, it gets covered up, algae is formed on it. Well, algae ends up petrifying. The wood ends up petrifying. Over time, the wood dries out and shrinks in the process. When it does so, it leaves a gap between the wood limb and the exterior where the algae was. In that rim, right there, and, depending on the piece, maybe further all the way around, you get a chalcedony growth, sometimes calcite as well. And you get these really neat formations depending on the particular piece. Really can be stunning. This is stunning because look at the chalcedony formation. These look like little crystals of chalcedony, but they're not. They're little additional growths. As we look at this closer, you can see, look at how cool they are. This botryoidal formation, and guess what chalcedony does? On? Chalcedony fluoresces, and this chalcedony will fluoresce a stunning orange. There's also some yellow that fluoresces in here as well. Look at the top of this. This is really neat. There's that rim again. And of course the chalcedony formed over the end of the limb here. Here it looks like another, look at this, where a side branch came off of the primary limb. That is real interesting and unique. And then you can see some of the fossilized algae. You just have to put your head, go back, 50 million years and to understand what all was going on in this piece. But look at that. That is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful formation. And this will fluoresce gorgeously. And this material is expensive, but I'm offering this at a really good value. Let's make it only $58. $58 on that. That's a bargain. Okay. Let me put that up real quick, and I'll be right back with the star of the show coming up for you. Never have I ever, isn't that a game? Never have I ever showed you in this podcast emeralds like this. For those of you that remember or watched me 7+ years ago, over 7 years ago, we actually specialized in Colombian jewelry and Colombian emeralds. We had everything from trapeches to the emerald crosses to anything emerald you can imagine. And so with that came, of course, a lot of knowledge gleaned over years of selling emeralds, and my business partner traveling to Colombia regularly and getting in on these amazing deals. This is a stunning emerald. It is Colombian, and now I'm just going to say this. It comes from the Boyaca mining department. within the Boyaca mining department, there's 3 primary mines that produce the majority of the world's emeralds: the Cosquez, the Muzo, and the Chivor. The Chivor mine was first discovered in 1537, quote, discovered by the Spanish conquistadors. Obviously, though, it wasn't discovered by them. It was long known by the native people before then. But then, check this out. It was lost. Quote, one of the lost mines, and it was lost until 1896 when, based on a 300-year-old manuscript, someone found it. A mining engineer, I think actually someone rediscovered it, I guess. And that was not until 1896. It's the only private owner mine in Colombia, is the Cosquez mine. Now, I'm not sure if this is from the Cosquez, the Chivor, or the Muzo. We got emeralds from all 3 of those locations. And so without a known, the best I can do is say, to be honest, is say Boyaca. Now, one of the ways you can tell a Muzo emerald, and it is 100% definitive, and this is something that I've already taught you. Remember the radioactive mineral called parasite? Yeah. Sounds like that, but it was named after J.J. Paris, P-A-R-R-I-S, one of the first managers and mining engineers of the Muzo mine. And Muzo emerald, so there's this little, it's a yellowish brown, kind of triangular shaped crystal that can be included in the emeralds. And if it's in there, it's from Muzo. And that's how the different ways they tell locations. And I always have said it's based on a lot of what type of inclusions are in it is how they figure out whether a ruby comes from Burma, Mozambique, etc. Now, the other unique thing about Colombian emeralds is that they are found in a sedimentary environment versus metamorphic or these other type environments that are completely different. By that, I mean, you're going to find emeralds then with slate or shale within them, around them, as part of the matrix. And those are sedimentary rocks. That's pretty interesting. I want you to take a look at this emerald. I have, and if you have priced emeralds of any time or at any point, you should know that a stone like this, look at the clarity to it. It is simply beautiful color and beautiful clarity. Emeralds, of course, a type 3 gemstone, meaning inclusions are expected to be in the stone. Oiling, when it comes to oil, it's like heat treatment of corundum. You expect all emeralds to be oiled unless they are certified otherwise. And here's one way to be able to tell whether something's been oiled or not. How many inclusions come to the surface? Because if an inclusion that is deep in the stone does not have a feather in the inclusion that reaches the surface, then there's no way you can get oil into that spot to hide it. Now, I have done it for a lot of people that have known, and it's something I don't advertise, but I was trained by an amazing Brazilian on how to properly oil and re-oil emeralds. So basically, I say I'm certified in emerald oiling or re-oiling. And I say re-oiling because many jewelers over the years, knowing that I cut gemstones and recut gemstones, had brought an emerald to me saying, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, this big inclusion appeared in the stone. Well, what happened was they either applied heat, put it in the ultrasonic, gave it some steam, whatever they did, it pulled the oil out. And they bowed down to me when I say, let me see what I can do. I take it, with this special heat special pressure and special oil. Inject oil back in the inclusion and make the flaw go away. And oh, you have never seen so many people be so thrilled to know they don't have to go spend thousands to get a new emerald because they broke the client's emerald. They didn't break it, they just pulled the oil out of it. There's a whole process. You can then are supposed to seal it and all, but not everybody does that. So the key and the clue is if there aren't inclusions that break the surface, there's not going to be much oil in it. This stone is a very clean stone in the world of emeralds. So let me put it up to my hand so you can see the relative size. Look at that. And then you can see the relative clarity. That is a beauty, a real beauty. And let me give it a little movement here. I've got 3 stones to show you, just to let you know. So this one I have at only, think of a price and think of how much emeralds are worth if you know it all, and then you're going to realize just how inexpensive this 2.18 karat gem is. I am making this jewel only $978. Less than $1,000 bill. That's only $448 a carat. $978. That stone, easily a $3,000 emerald. This is Colombian. The color itself spouts Colombian. Colombian emeralds, mostly colored by chromium. The Brazilian ones, they have found to be have some vanadium in them, but you can also do a float it to check for the magnetism in it for the chromium content. You can also, and I did, check the chromium content with a Chelsea filter. And yep, it did what it's supposed to do, turned a pinkish red. Let me show you the next one. Time is running out on me. Item number 1185024. 1185024. Now, I can tell the difference between the two because of the shape. Let me first show you in the container. Look at this beauty. Look at this beauty. That is a perfect square, by the way. A perfect square. All right, now let's take it out. And it's 2.5 carat. 2.5 carat. So it's exactly 2.5 carat. So I like things like that. Perfect 2.5 carat. Look at the clarity to that. Okay, so let me turn this off for a moment. Put the two next to each other, just if you want to compare. Look at how similar. Very similar in color. Very similar in the color. Look at the clarity to this one. The 2.5 carat, really, for an emerald, very clean. And I love that perfect square shape to it. The emerald cut, which is the name given to this type cut, also called the step cut because of it looks like there's steps. Let me show it to you on my hand. And you get to see an idea of, again, the size. These have a rich color green. And green's always difficult to get right on the TV, but I can tell you that both of these have a classic emerald, Colombian emerald color. Beautiful, beautiful gems. Now, the 2.5 carat, which is the one on the left, and I won't confuse you in a moment. I'll remove it. Is only $1,125. That's only $450 a carat, so that's only $7 more per carat. So it's really not a price per carat. Yep, basically the same price per carat. So let me remove this one so we can not confuse anyone. Item 11850. Yes, that's correct. Yep. Now, look at that stone. Let me wipe that down. And that's one thing, you know, I notice gem lovers, we're always just want to constantly wipe the stone down, especially like me. I just don't like the littlest bit of smudging on them. But that just happens. You know, one time I had an emerald. It was so oiled. When I put it in the gem tube, the next day I went to get it out of the gem tube and the oil soaked out of it into the gem tube and you could see it all over the cotton. That one was a definite giveaway. So anyway, all right, so that's a beauty right there. That is a beauty. And the opportunity at a price on a exact 2.5 carat, outstanding. That is a opportunity I'll never have. And I've had these stones. I've had them a long time, and that's why I am selling them at a price that I could not replace them for. So that tells you they're actually below my wholesale cost. This is stunning. And of course, remember, you can return them. You know, if you get them at home and you don't like them, yeah, you're not going to hurt my feelings. It's okay. You know, it really is. It's okay. If for whatever reason you want to return it. Now, let me show you one more thing. Let me put it against this background and let me show it to you here. Look at that. That gives you a really good color contrast and idea of it, the gem. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty. So let me put this one up there for a moment too, so you can just see the two next to each other. Look at that. Yeah. So very similar color tones. Now let me do one more here for you. Wow. Yep. I have a third one. Item number 482-118-5124. 482-118-5124. Check this out. Look at the gem in the gem tube first. Yeah. And then gulp. Really? Take a look at this. If you like your emeralds with very few inclusions and a very classic Colombian color, this stone is for you. Emerald crystals grow lengthwise. That's why you find them cut like they are. Look at this. Look at the clarity to that one. Oh, that is stunning. Now, the color may be a little bit lighter, but that's because of the clarity. Look at that. It just has one little veil inclusion that you can see. Look at that. That stone. I don't know. It speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. Look at that. Look at that. So that clarity right there, you can see everything in it from that angle perfectly. This stone, I would love to have made it into something for myself. So it's 2.14 carat, very similar weight to the other one. This is a stunning stone, and it would just be beautiful in a collection if you did nothing with it. Look at that. I love it. I have this at, again, in the same price per carat range. I wanted to bring these to you at a price that I don't discount, and we can't like take offers or do anything like that. So I make it worthwhile straight out of the gate, and these are not prices I can come off of. There is actually another place I can sell these to. He's a dealer, a really shrewd dealer that pays really cheaply, but he would pay what I'm asking for these. Price on this one is only $948. That is only $443 a carat. So we had $443, $448, and $450 a carat. So what a price per carat.
The other two away, leave just
I'm comparing the colors, and I will remove the other two so you can take a picture of it.
So it's not for me.
I understand that.
Yeah. All right, now you can compare this. Now,
You get the picture. At only $948, again, all three in the same price per carat, it would be tough for anyone to make up their mind. So one of you out there, get all three. And even if you took all three, you know what? They're priced so inexpensively, I wouldn't even be able to do a discount if you got all three. That's how cheap they are. And I hate to use the word cheap, but in this case, when it comes to price, they're cheap. And again, the clarity says everything when you're talking about emerald. And when you're talking about something that clean,
All right, let's stop for a second.
that is special. All right, let me put these up and I'll be back. One last little snippet I wanted to show you was, believe it or not, the colors of emeralds and how they can be completely varied by a little bit more vanadium, a little less chromium. You can actually have a little more iron in some of them. Look at this emerald. This emerald, it just needs a little trim off the end and it actually sells for a good bit of money. But look at the difference. Look at how blue, how much more blue is in that stone. So just giving you a idea of the range of colors and how much more desirable an emerald color in this range is than something like this. I mean, this almost looks like a aqua compared to them. So a little final note there, just how valuable colors are in emeralds. And you want this range for Colombian emerald, which is, of course, the most desirable emerald in the world is Colombian. And those three, by way of the color, inclusions, everything, Colombian all the way. All right, we're going to wrap our show up, and I'll be right back to say goodbye. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the saving the best for the last, but that's just out of a value standpoint. To me, some of the best is those $68 erythrites, or, well, those unique items that I showed you, like the gem silica piece, that removable top. Go find another one of those. I can find more emeralds. Can't find that. Anyway, I've enjoyed the show. I have a whole stack of items I was going to show you how I organize the equipment, spectrometer, everything. We'll get to that in another show. Also, I'm just going to let till things even out a little bit, make sure all the computers are up and running before we do any trivia. I don't want to make sure no one misses out on that down the road. So we're going to skip it for this week. Once again, focus in on the items I brought you and on the treasures. And like a couple of you have done, you know, when there isn't a show for whatever reason, that was a rare thing to happen. But you did great. You went back and you looked at the other show. By chance, Barbara found the ring that she bought watching me make it. She has that provenance. Matt, looking back, getting the information off the Econites that he now has. So lots of good stuff left up there for you when I'm not there. If you want value, Brad, if you're looking to put away a stone that you got an exceptional deal on, look to one of those emeralds. It will help complete the collection that it sounds like you're building. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your patience with gem shopping and the struggles with shipping and buying and all of that. It will, as each week passes, get easier, better, quicker, and resolved. And that's what I want for all of you. So thank you again for your patronage, for your love and concern, and lately, mostly, your patience. God bless, and I'll see you next Monday. Thanks.